Welcome, everybody, once again to Voiceover In and Out. And I want to talk to you today about a couple of things. The first one being a little more about the calendar, because on Monday, where we left off was, if you remember, we taught you how to add events to the calendar. And I think we explored that, pretty in depth. Again, can't cover every possible scenario, every possible option, but we covered a lot of options and a lot of features. We talked about how to choose what calendar you're adding to, how to include, specify a location and include travel times. We talked about your alerts. We talked about setting your default alert times under settings. We talked about adding with Siri. We talked about putting attachments and URLs. We certainly talked about picking and setting start and end dates and times with that vertical navigation option in the rotor if you want to use that. And we also talked about the other various calendar features. And so we really, we covered recurrent, repeating events, custom repeats, all of those kinds of things. So we really have in many ways explored a good bit how to add events to the calendar. But the question has to be on our minds then, how do we locate those events once we have added them? How do we actually make this a meaningful, useful, relevant tool to find events on the calendar? One of the ways, of course, that you can query your devices about events, you can use Siri, right? We always want to include Siri in the program here. And this works on any of your Apple devices, except Apple TV, I guess. But, iPad, iPhone, HomePod, Apple Watch, Macintosh. And you can ask Siri something like, when is my dentist appointment? Okay. And as long as you have, as long as you're basically pretty close to the correct event title, that will Siri will answer that for you. When is my business lunch? When is my, when is the soccer game? Or, whatever it is that you want to ask, you can just ask Siri. You can also do the reverse of that, which would be something like this. What's on my calendar for today?
You have 2 appointments at 2 p.m. TT, J Voiceover and Out Course, and at 7 p.m. Covenant Men.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
And that was right. He said we have two events on the calendar today. TTJ Voiceover In and Out at 2, which is of course happening right now, and our men's Bible study this evening. You get the idea. We can ask Siri in 2 different ways. When is the fill in name of event, or what is on my calendar for? And it doesn't have to be today. You could ask tomorrow, or December 27th, or whatever. And a third thing you can do about your current day, by the way, is that you can ask Siri a question like, what's my update? And that's very useful on the HomePod. I suppose it works on any device, but I think I've done it pretty much exclusively on the HomePod. It was introduced alongside the HomePod Mini. And this will give you kind of an overview of your day as well. So that's another good command just to have in your toolbox there. What's my update? Now, these are all Siri implementations, of course, and ways of using Siri to find out what's on your calendar. But let's go into the calendar app again.
Calendar, Wednesday, October 27th. Toolbar, add button.
Because what if we want to, actually use the calendar app to figure out what's on our calendar? Now, you can search, because there is a search button. And so if you know an event's title or something like that, feel free to double tap in the search, field. It'll bring up an edit field and a keyboard on screen. You can type or dictate what you're looking for. But other than that, what we have here is we actually have a calendar displaying in front of us. It has the dates. It has hour by hour on each day. And on an iPhone, we're going to be able to 3-finger swipe left and right to move day by day. That's true on an iPad as well, but on an iPad, you also can view by week and by month and by year. And so when we get to the iPad class, we'll focus on that. But here we're going to see a day-by-day view. There is a button at the bottom of the screen called Today, which you can double tap to quickly jump to today's date, whatever it may be. And so we can see this sort of view that way. But there are some tools that are available to make it even easier to see our calendar events if we don't want to see an hour by hour. That's really great as a visual tool, but for VoiceOver users, that can get a little overwhelming. And so there's two ways of dealing with that. The first way is to display all your events as only a list. So instead of looking at a grid of, the calendar, you can get a list view of every event that you have. And what we do is up at the top, we have this.
Search field, dictate, October to today, button, Sunday.
Now that today thing is up there on an iPad. It's down at the bottom on a phone. But here's a button that you're going to hear.
List button.
Again, it said list.
List button.
Up at the top. When you double tap on that, it will indeed present a list view of the events that you have. You will not have to scroll or swipe through an hour by hour or even a day by day view of, every hour, every, whatever. Instead, you're just going to have event after event after event, swipe left, swipe right, and you will continue to go through all of the events on your calendar. And if you want to get more information about a particular event, you can double tap on it. And then it's going to, if you swipe right, give you some details about it. If you swipe up and down, you'll have a rotor action to edit the event, to share the event, and even to join the event if it is a meeting in Zoom or WebEx or even FaceTime, something like that. So you have all of those options in the rotor actions once you double tap on an event to get its details. If you're the event creator, you can edit the event that way too. In the rotor, as I said, there's an edit option, and that will allow you to make changes to the event. So list, just double tap that list button, and it will nicely display all of the events for you in a list form. Now, the other option, if you do not choose the list option, and you instead continue to operate in the full grid calendar view here, there's another feature that you have that works only when you're not using the list, and it's called the events rotor option. In the rotor, automatically, it's context aware. You don't have to enable this. You don't have to do anything to make it happen. It's just there when it's needed, and it's only needed when you're viewing a grid of your events. You can turn the rotor to events. I'll do that now. I'll touch in the middle here so that the focus is on the actual calendar.
Thursday, October 28th, 3 a.m.
And I just touched, a random time. And you didn't hear that. It said use the rotor to access events. Let me do that again.
Wednesday, October 27th, 5 a.m. Use the rotor to access events.
So it may already be on events, but if I turn my rotor.
Screen recognition events.
Yep, events. Now, I can just swipe down to go to the next event, and I can swipe up to go to the previous event, like this.
Sunday, October 24th, church, 2-3 birthday, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday, October 25th, test VO, a TTJ voiceover in and out course, WebEx, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., TTJ training, Tuesday, October 26th, TTJ help session, WebEx, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesday, October 27th, test VO 8, Mac OS training, FaceTime, from 10:15 a.m. TTJ voiceover in and out course, WebEx, from Covenant Men, 2-3 North.
See, I'm just swiping down and I'm going through every event day by day because I have a week view here on the iPad, but either way, you're going to get all the events for that day or that whatever you're set in on the iPhone, it's probably going to be just for that day. You heard that today I had a Mac OS training I had to do with somebody, and then I had this event now and I have the Covenant Men event this evening. What this does in the events rotor is that it puts the individual events first and then the all-day events at the bottom. So if I keep going down, it's going to go back to the all-day events, okay? For example, yesterday was my birthday, but you didn't hear that in this list. If I kept swiping down, it would get to it after all of the individual events. Now, if you want to move when you're doing it this way, using the rotor, if you want to go to the next day or the next week on an iPad or, whatever, that's when as I said, you're going to do that 3-finger scroll, 3-finger swipe to the left to go to the next day, and 3-finger swipe to the right to go to the previous day. And so this is yet another handy way to move through the calendar. I actually really like it because that events rotor option has been around on the iPad for quite some time. I can't say exactly when it was added. I discovered it in probably iOS 11, and so it's been there at least since then. And it may have been even before that, but it was just only added just now to the iPhone on iOS 15. But the list option you've been able to do for quite some time on the iPhone. And again, that's your other option. That's another option you have if you don't want to have to look at an hour by hour view, because you can look at an hour by hour view. I mean, again, that's visually very appealing, and we can use it. It's not that we can't. I mean, here I am.
9 p.m., 10 p.m., 9 p.m., 8 p.m., Covenant Men, 2-3 North, 6 p.m.
See, so when I get to 7 p.m., it tells me that I have that Covenant Men event. I mean, I can do that if I want to, but it doesn't. It's probably, for somebody who can't see, not the most efficient way to do it. So that's where we have those two other options. Again, they are the list button near the top of the screen on the iPhone by the search field and so forth. Double tap that, and then you just swipe left and right. You're going to go through all of your events. And the other option is not to use the list view, but instead to use the events rotor. And when you need to change the date or something, you just 3-finger swipe left or right. So those are the ways. Again, let's just restate in case you're taking notes. You want a quick summary? Ways to find events on your calendar. The number one, using Siri. And again, we can ask what's on my calendar for, a specific date, or the phrase like today, tomorrow. Or, when is my event? When is my doctor's appointment? When is my haircut? The next option we had was, and the other phrase I said, what's my update? That's another way to find out what's happening today with Siri. Our next option was the search in the calendar app. You can search right there. Actually, you could you could use Spotlight search as well, which we taught about before. But there is a search field right in the calendar. We showed that to you. So that's number 3. You can search for your event. And then finally, we talked about 2 ways to sort of minimize what we are experiencing by choosing, for example, the list button, which is going to just present all of our events, one right after the other. Swipe right to go to the next one, swipe left to go to the previous one, and we don't have to see the grid of hours and days and all that. Or if we do want to see the grid, we can use the events rotor. Just turn the rotor to events, swipe up to go to the previous event, swipe down to go to the next event. But remember, the all-day events are last in the list. And again, when you need to move to the next day, you just 3-finger swipe to the left. As I said, when you find an event of interest, if you want to get more information about it, you can double tap on it. And that's going to bring up, like, let me do it here. Let me find.
Thursday, October 28th, 1 p.m.
All right, so I'm going to.
Matthew, Grace, Jenny, Renee, Tuesday, Thursday, October 28th, trunk or treat.
See, I had gotten, we have another trunk or treat tomorrow night too at a local restaurant. I had gotten into the all-day event, so I'm swiping up.
Wednesday, TTJ Voiceover In&Out course, WebEx, from 2 p.m. to...
All right, let's use this. I'm going to double tap on it.
TTJ Voiceover In&Out course, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Actions available.
It says
more content available.
All right, it says there are actions available. So if I swipe up and down, I can see what those are.
Calendar. TTJ Voice Edit.
All right, edit is one of them when I swipe down, because again, it might be that I want to make a change to that event. Swipe down again.
Join.
There's the join option, which we've talked about before. That's how you're going to join that event when you want to join it from the calendar. We've been talking about that for several weeks now, I think.
Share.
And I can share the event.
Drag.
And I can drag it, which is not something I need to do.
Activate default.
And okay, so that's my list of options there. I had to swipe to the right and then come back to the left in order to get that to work. I'm not sure why. But what I will say is, if you're not the event host or the event creator, you won't have the edit option. So if you're doing this on your calendar and you're following me exactly to the point that you're using the WebEx event here, you won't have an edit option. But on events that you've created yourself, you will, or where you have editing permissions, if it's like a family calendar or something. If I swipe right,
calendar, TTJ training button, alert, 30 minutes before button, second alert, 1 day before, URL, https://thetechjuggernaut.webex.com. Notes, virtual doors will open approximately 10 minutes prior to session start. Swipe up or toolbar, delete event button.
And of course,
delete event.
Because I'm the creator of the event, I can delete it also. So those are the options that you have here when you double tap on an event. Now, if I want to get out of this, I can tap off of it, like off to the side, and I'll hear
dismiss pop-up.
That.
Double tap to dismiss pop-up window.
And I can do that.
Toolbar, calendars, button.
The other way that I could have done it is with a 2-finger scrub. That's not a gesture we've really talked much about, but Apple says it's sort of like making a Z, like Z as in Zulu, but it really, you just kind of scrub back and forth as if you are cleaning like a little spot, on a glass or something. You just 2 fingers and you scrub 3 times, and it will dismiss the current screen and take you back to the previous one in this case. The only other thing I just want to point out again is that with the calendar, if you have family sharing enabled, you can have a family calendar for everybody in the family, and anyone can add to it. Also, again, I want to point out that if you're, and I know I said this before, but I want to just revisit this. If you're inviting someone who's not on your, calendar, just a person who is not part of your family or not subscribed, we're having dinner with, my cousins next week, so I want to invite them, like a meeting request or something. Remember that if it's possible to do so, use their Apple ID email address when sending the invite. It is not required. All right. If it's not, feasible to ask them, that's okay. You don't really need to do it. But if you do, it's going to have the benefit of going directly on their calendar as an invite. They'll get a notification. They can immediately accept it, decline it, whatever, and then that shows up on your calendar. If the email address you have is not their Apple ID, then you have no problem. It'll still work, but it's just going to be that what you'll have is it will go to them as an email, and then they can add that to their calendar. Now, the final thing I want to revisit is that there are subscription only, read only calendars, just like our TTJ training calendar. That's a perfect example of one. And some of them you can subscribe to right in the calendar app, like the in your settings, I guess, really. The US holidays is there, and you can have that shown on, so you can see what, and then that's good with all kinds of, holidays and so forth. And so that's a nice feature too. So there are these subscription calendars, and now hopefully for the remainder of you who were uncomfortable before using the calendar and adding this stuff, TTJ training calendar and stuff, hopefully now you're well versed enough in it that you're willing to, at least give it a try, because it really will simplify things. Folks that are subscribed to the TTJ training calendar will not have to do anything. They will not have to go hunting for our Zoom link next week. They will not have to say, well, do I have the correct link? Don't I have the correct? All they got to do is go to the event on their calendar, open it up with a double tap, swipe up or down where it has the title and say join and double tap. That's all they're going to have to do. So it truly is the best way to do that. Let's move on to reminders. Reminders is somewhat different from calendar, and a lot of people ask how or why. Why would I use one versus the other? Why do I need both, and why shouldn't I just use calendar for everything? And the basic answer is that the calendar is designed, and of course it's, people can do what they choose to do, but the calendar is designed for events. So what that means is that it has features that are most appropriate for appointments, events, meetings, things of that nature, right? It's designed to maximize that sort of thing, travel time to the events that you might go to, and, all these sorts of features that we've already talked about. Reminders is designed for tasks, things that you need to do. Sure, you could put them on your calendar, but you're going to be better off to put them on reminders just because there are features that are unique, functionality that is unique to tasks and reminders, things that I need to do or accomplish. They're going to be lists that I want to make. I can make lists in reminders, and I can even have multiple lists, and each list has its own set of reminders. I can share those lists with people if I need to collaboratively work with others. And so I think about examples like this. I think about items that, maybe, for example, I need to do every week. I need to water the plants. I need to pay these bills every month on such and such a date. I need to take my medicine at a certain time and be reminded of that. Or one-time tasks like remind me to bring up the frozen pizza from the freezer, at this time to put it in. Or I also think about lists of chores, grocery lists. You're going to see why Reminders is truly a great app for grocery lists. I used to use a separate app for grocery lists. I have since deleted that as of iOS 15 because the Reminders app does really everything I need it to do now. And so we'll show you that. I think about collaborative tasks. This is a list of, things that I need to do in a class, and I'm working with a group of students or staff members, and we're collaborating on a project. And so I share this list collaboratively, but every person has a different task they need to do at a different time. And so your reminders can be just a list, just a plain old list. It can be time-based. So, and the nice thing about lists with reminders is that every reminder can have different characteristics, right? So one reminder might be a time-based reminder. I need to do this at 7 p.m. or I need to do this at 7 p.m. every Sunday, recurring reminder. A location-based reminder. Remind me to call my wife when I leave work. Remind me to pick up milk when I pass the grocery store. So you can have location-based reminders. You can also have person-based reminders with the Messages app. Remind me when I am messaging the TTJ instructor team, to ask them about next week's agenda. So what I have there is when I open a message and I'm talking in messages with that particular person, it's going to give me a notification, that reminder, okay? So, and with reminders, by the way, you can mark them as complete. You can snooze them for an hour and say, remind me in an hour, remind me tomorrow. So you can be reminded again about these things. And then when it is done, you can mark it as complete. You can even have sub-tasks with a particular reminder. And again, I can use a couple of examples here. Maybe I have 5 different bills to pay that I pay all of them on the same date, and so I can create a reminder and say, pay the bills. And then I can have subtasks. So I can have, electric bill, cell phone bill, water bill, whatever. And all of those must be complete before the entire reminder is complete. So those are subtasks. Also, when we're sharing reminders with other people, we can even assign tasks. I mentioned chores to you, and I mentioned class projects. Those are 2 great examples of where we might want to assign tasks. In our family, we do different chores when we're doing, stuff around the house. And, maybe one of the kids needs to clean their room and one of the kids needs to water the plant, whatever the case may be. And so you can assign tasks to people who share reminders lists. And the other example of that, as I said, is a school project. You're working together on a history project, and given the year that it is, we'll take the recently commemorated horrible event of 9/11, right? But maybe we're doing a history project on 9/11. And so somebody in that group who's working on that project, one student is going to interview a ticket agent who happened to be working at the airport on that dreadful morning. Somebody else is going to interview a survivor who, got out of the World Trade Center or whatever. And so you're going to assign these to individual people, but everybody can see them. So that's collaborative reminders. Now, aside from collaboration, aside from sharing individual lists, of course, all of your reminders and lists are shared in iCloud among your own devices, across all of your devices, which again is so important. I love it because I know that all my reminders are on all of my devices. I can use the HomePod to add reminders. And it's very, very convenient. Again, that's another great reason to use it as a grocery list, because I can be in the kitchen and say, add chicken to the grocery list, and it will. And I can also tag my reminders, and that is a way of helping me to organize the reminders as well. So let's dive right in. All right, let's actually get in here. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to open the reminders app. And if you have a back button at the upper left, I suggest that you tap on it, because we want to go clear back where we can see all of our reminders lists. And by default, you're going to have one. It's called reminders. And if you are in family sharing, you'll also have a family list. Okay. So I'm going to open reminders.
Tap to open. Reminders, all tags, button.
Now on an iPad, I don't have a back button. It's slightly different, but if you do, you can
Edit button.
You can hit it. Now we have the edit button, which we're going to ignore for right now, but it allows us to do multi-select. In other words, I want to select 5 different lists for some reason that I want to perform an action on them. All right, but let's just go to the right.
Search field.
Okay, we could search our reminders
Tap
list.
to edit. Dictate. Selected. Today, 0 reminders. October 27th. Button.
Now,
double tap to view list.
This is what you call a smart list. All right. Today, it's not actually a list that's been created. It's just a list that automatically appears based upon the day. And so any reminders that are due today are going to show up on this smart list of today, which it's telling me I have none for today. Now, if I continue to the right, there might be a couple other smart lists here.
Scheduled, 18 reminders button.
Yep.
Double tap to view list.
Scheduled reminders, so things that do have specific dates and times.
All, 34 reminders button. Flagged. 0 reminders button.
All right. Those are our smart lists.
My lists heading.
Now we're in the My Lists section. And this is where you can add new lists if you want. I have several already. The first one we're going to see.
Paprika. 2 reminders. List badge. Orange.
And you can
double tap to view list.
See, I can choose the
Double tap and hold. Then drag to reorder items. Actions available.
A lot of information there. Double tap and hold, then drag. It also said actions are available, so I can see different options like
delete, list info, drag item, activate.
Okay, so I can get that information with my actions rotor. But again, this reminders list is called Paprika. It is Paprika is a recipe app, and it has created this reminders list for me in reminders in case I need to add recipe items to that list. Let's go on.
Grocery, shared with Jessica Volbrecht and 2 others. 13 reminders, list badge, pink.
Okay,
double tap
that one.
List.
That one.
Grocery, shared with Jessica Volbrecht and 2 others. 13 reminders, list badge, pink. Double tap drag item.
And it told me that
activate.
It's shared with 3 other people, and that's my wife and kids. And it told me how many items are on it right now. Okay, that's our grocery list, and we'll look at that next.
Reminders, 17 reminders, list badge, cyan blue.
That's my regular, just master reminders list that, just general reminders go on, or that was created by default.
Family, shared with Kylie Volbrecht and 2 others. 1 reminder.
There's that
yellow.
There's that family list, okay, from family sharing.
TTJ team, shared with Cliff Miller Sr. and 3 others. 0 reminders.
And that
computer badge, rose.
That is that's our TTJ team list that we use.
Expirations, 1 reminder, asterisk badge, red.
Now this
double tap to view list.
This is a list that I use for
double tap and
when certain things are going to expire, products that we need to buy, new grocery items for, just so I can keep track of expiration dates that way.
Tags, expanded, heading.
Now, this is expandable. You can double tap it to expand or collapse it. It's already expanded. And this is the tags section. This is where if I tag a reminder, it goes into this section so I can quickly see all of the things. For example,
all tags button, hashtag bills button, hashtag chores button, toolbar.
So I have 2 different tags right now, bills and chores, and that's kind of what if I want to see all of the all the bills that need to be paid, all the chores that need to be done. I can organize them by tag as well. And then you have down here
toolbar, add list button,
the button to add a new list. And so it's easy to create a new list, and it's going to ask you to choose the color of the list and some sort of an image or an emoji to represent the list. Once that list is created, you can long press or use your rotor actions on it to get the info for the list and share that list with other people if you want. So, if I went
toolbar, hash, all tags, expirations, 1 reminder, asterisk badge.
If I want to share that list with the family,
dismiss context menu.
I did a long press, a double tap and hold on it, and I have these choices now.
Delete list, share list button.
See right there it is, share. There are other choices, but you see how easy it is to share the list.
Dismiss context menu.
I'll dismiss that. You're just going to double tap on share list, and then you're going to enter an email address of the person you want to share with. And so we can, easily do that. And so that is the
list. No reminders. Today, heading, reminders list. No toolbar.
Okay.
New reminder.
Yeah, this is today is selected and there's no reminders on it. That's a smart
Wednesday,
list,
3/18.
but there happen to be none today. But if I select one of these other ones, then I will see some reminders.
Reminders, 17 reminders.
Okay.
More button.
So I have a more button, which again gives me options. For example,
Show list info button.
I can get the list info that way too.
Share list button.
Share the list that way too.
Select reminders button.
I can do a multi-select.
Sort by manual button.
How
Collapsed.
am I sorting
Double
these
tap to expand.
reminders by when they're due, or what?
Show completed button.
Show completed allows me to see not only the incomplete items, but the completed reminders, which will appear at the bottom of the list.
Print button.
I can print a list of reminders.
Delete list button.
Delete the list.
Dismiss context menu.
And dismiss the menu, which is what we're going to do.
Select.
That was the more button after we opened a particular list. The rest of this list now, you have
more reminders, heading, incomplete, more,
and
toolbar.
By the way,
add list,
the add reminder button
toolbar, new reminder button
is there at the bottom. But here's all my reminders are here.
Incomplete. Pack the library books, November 1st, 2021 at 9 p.m. weekly.
That's
double tap to mark as completed.
Okay.
Use the actions rotor to edit the title. Actions available. Use the rotor to access completed tasks, incomplete tasks, overdue tasks.
So you learned a lot of information by me just tapping on one reminder that happens to be on this list. You heard that it was incomplete. You heard what it was. Pack the library books. When it's due, the next occurrence of it is this coming Monday, and it's weekly. Told me the time even. And then it said you can double tap to mark it as complete. You can use the rotor to edit the title, and there are other actions that you can, edit the reminder details and stuff as well. And then you even heard it say use the rotor to access completed tasks, incomplete tasks, overdue tasks. So your rotor in reminders is really powerful because I can turn the rotor to any of those things and swipe up and down to move between them like this.
Overdue tasks.
Let's see if there's anything overdue. Nope, there's not. That's good.
Incomplete tasks.
Here's the incomplete tasks.
Incomplete. Pay Bank of America, November 14th, 2021 at 9 a.m. monthly. Tag bills.
And it told me that.
Double tap to mark as complete.
That's tagged bills. So these are the incomplete tasks, which obviously, there's a reason they're incomplete. They're not due yet. Nothing in this list is overdue, praise God. So that's a good place to be in. But you see, those are, again, what we're seeing here is that these patterns, remember the predictable patterns, the fundamentals, learning about the ability to use the rotor to see all of these different things and swipe up and down to move between them. Now, what we need to do is we need to show you how to add a reminder, and I'm going to actually do that in my probably in my grocery list. And I want to explain to you why I say
Wednesday, October 27th.
that this app is the best grocery list app. I first of all want to explain why I didn't use it before for groceries. I always felt like there were one or two things missing from the app when it came to having the ultimate grocery shopping experience. Okay. The primary thing was a way to quickly mark the incomplete, rather to delete all of the completed items. That was really the big thing. Everything else, they've added the ability to share lists with people outside of your, iCloud account. So that was good. They've added, the ability to use the HomePod. When the HomePod came out, that was great. So we could use Siri. Really, the only thing left for me that was not there was a quick way to get rid of all the completed items. We went to the store, we bought, 10 out of the 12 things that were on this list. They didn't have the others, but we'll get them later. We need to leave them on the list, but we want to get rid of all these completed items now. And iOS 15 solved that. They added a quick way to get rid of all the completed items. So I'm going to show you that here. That was the reason I wasn't using it before. Now it's there, and I can do that. And the really great thing, when we start adding reminders here in a moment, you're going to understand, hopefully, why it's different than adding events to the calendar. So when you add an event to the calendar, you hit the add button and everything's there. You just keep swiping through, title, event title, and then location, and start date and end date and all this. But with reminders, it's different. You hit add reminder or new reminder and you type, and then all of a sudden that's already on the list. And then you got to hit enter detail. Why is it done that way? And I'm convinced that confuses people and then they don't want to use it. But there's a reason that it's done that way. It's done that way because sometimes you just want a basic list. Sometimes you don't want any other details on the particular reminder that you enter. And that's most easily seen when we're doing a grocery list, right? Because most times we just want a list. We don't need any other information. Most times on a grocery list, you just want to enter the item, and then go on and enter another item: milk, bread, chicken, soda. You just keep entering item after item. And so that's what the Reminders app gives you the ability to do when you hit new reminder. And that's why as soon as you enter something, it goes onto the list and you have to hit edit detail if you want to do more. Because sometimes you do want to do more. And sometimes you want to be notified about this reminder at a specific time or at a specific location, or when you're messaging a person, or you want to add notes about the reminder, or you want to tag the reminder. And so those are optional things, but you can also just use this as a basic list app, and again, it can be a combination of those two things, right? So, let's say we're going on a trip and I am making a list of items that I need to pack for my trip. And so I start out, and I put, clothing, each, socks and all this stuff. And then, I put shampoo, and then I put toothpaste. And when I'm doing toothpaste, I suddenly realize that I'm about out of toothpaste. I need to get another tube of toothpaste. So all of a sudden, up until this point, it was just a plain list of all these items that I need to pack. I can check them off when I've packed them. But now we got an item, toothpaste, that requires further action on my part. I need to go to the store and I need to get that. Well, I happen to be going out tomorrow anyway. We're going to go to lunch. We'll stop at the store afterwards. And I'm thinking to myself, that'd be a perfect time to get this toothpaste. So I'm now going to, when I put toothpaste on there, I'm going to add this variable, and I'm going to say, hey, remind me about this when I am at the store, because I'm already going to the store. So, when I get there, make sure you remind me that I need to pick up toothpaste. So you see that this can be like a hybrid kind of list of just plain old list items, as well as the actual items that require additional interaction, that I actually want to be notified or alerted at a certain time or at a certain location. Now, before once I get my daughter, I'll demonstrate this, but while we're waiting for her, let me tell you about using Siri to do these things. You can ask Siri to add stuff to your list, okay? So if it's just the generic, like a grocery item, I can say add strawberries to the grocery list. Okay. Now you have to have created a list called grocery, in order for that to work. But once you do, you can say that, add strawberries to the grocery list. And again, this is great with the HomePod Mini or the full-size HomePod, doesn't matter. But the HomePod Mini is the one you can buy now. And it's great with that, because you can be in the kitchen cooking and realize you need something and just, say, hey, add it to the list. Now, you can also tell Siri specific times. Remind me to water the plants every Sunday at 7 p.m. Or, remind me to whatever it is. You can say, like, today at 7, tomorrow at 7, or next Thursday, or you can give a date. Remind me to do this on December 5th at 10 a.m. 4 p.m., whatever. So you can be very specific with Siri, and Siri will do that. You can also use the location-based reminders with Siri, at least to an extent. Now, you're going to have more, as usual, you're going to have more granular control over this if you use the app, okay? You're going to have more granular control because you can search for locations. So if you don't know, I gave the example a couple of minutes ago of remind me to get the toothpaste when I'm already at the store. Well, if you don't know the address of the store and you don't have that store's address in your contacts, you're going to have to search for that location just like we did with calendar. And so that is probably better done in the app. But if I have somebody in my contacts, or I have myself in my contacts, so I can say, remind me. Well, I'll tell you a perfect example. Last evening, we went out to dinner, and then we went to a parade here in town. We came home in between dinner and the parade because it was really, really cold outside, and we wanted to bundle up, so we needed to get extra clothing to wear, and we made some hot chocolate to take to the parade and so forth. And when we got home, we had some leftovers from dinner, and my son put them in the downstairs refrigerator in our garage. And I said to him, I'd really rather you didn't do that because I don't want to forget them down here. That's really easy to do, is to, forget them in our basement refrigerator. We don't go down there all the time. And he said, well, we don't have time to do anything else right now. I'm going to just stick them in here. So what did I do? I made a reminder with Siri. I said, remind me to bring up the leftovers when I come home, because I knew we were going back out to the parade. So as soon as we got home from the parade, then Siri reminded me, and I was able to mark it as complete, bring those leftovers upstairs. So that you can say that kind of stuff to Siri as long as you have the proper address already stored in your contacts, or your current location. It knows that too. You can use that kind of phrasing. So it's going to create a little geofence around that location, my home, my work, whatever. And so consequently, when I create a reminder like that, it is going to actually do that when I pass by or arrive at that. And you can say when I leave, when I get home, when I arrive, you can say those kinds of things to Siri. And in a couple minutes, we're going to show you how to actually do it in the app as well. But there is a good bit that we can do with Siri like that. And again, the most important thing, it goes back to what we said before about having these properly set up in your contact cards. Because if you've got your home address, your work address, all that stuff properly set up, you're going to have a lot more flexibility with reminders with Siri. Again, we can search for locations. I'm already in the Reminders app. I told you I was going to do it in the grocery app because that's going to allow me to show you multiple things at once. So
flagged. Zip all. Paprika. Grocery. Shared with Jessica. Selected. Grocery. Shared with Jessica.
All right. So I've opened my grocery list. And I know that there are a couple of things I actually need to add here. And I would probably do it with Siri normally, but I want to give you the experience. So let's hit add reminder.
Toolbar. New reminder.
Or
button.
New reminder, I'm sorry.
Text field is editing. Insertion point at start.
All right.
Actions
now
available.
one
Use the rotor to access misspelled.
one of the things my daughter told me to make sure we get when we're at the store. The last time we got these fresh baked chocolate chip cookies that they made right in the bakery. So she wants me to add that. So I'm going to type that in here. So I'm going to add squishies to the list here.
H-E-S.
Now, because I don't need a specific reminder to go, like alert to go with that, I will just press return.
Return.
It's added that to the list, and it's now giving me another list item that I can add. And so we're going to put, was that a makeup case?
Mike.
Was it a makeup case, Sky, that she got the zipper off of? Okay, so we're going to put makeup case. And again, I'm just going to press return. We just keep adding stuff this way. Now I'm going to put the cookies.
Caps O-O-K-I-E-S.
Now, this time I'm going to show you that if I don't just want to keep going, I do have other options. So it's already on the list, but I tap up here.
Incomplete. Orange. In text field is editing. Cookies. Character mode.
All right, that's
point at
like last on the list so far.
Edit details button.
And right next to it is
available.
An edit details button. Now, before I tap on edit details, I want to also point out that the Reminders app has a degree of artificial intelligence to it, such that I technically could have typed in here, like, water the plants next Wednesday at noon, and it would have most likely added the correct details already. There's also what's known as a quick bar. You're going to learn more about those when we talk about autofill and predictive text and autocorrect and all that here in a couple of weeks. You're going to learn all about that. But basically, it's above the keyboard on screen, and it's going to give me options.
Undo, redo, paste, date and time button.
See, I can undo, I can redo.
Double tap to alert at a date or time.
I can pick date and time.
Location button.
I can pick location.
Cookies.
Okay, so all of those options are already there. But if I want to really get granular and really get detailed, I'm going to go to that edit details.
Redo, undo, edit details button. Cancel button.
Now we've got the whole screen in front of us. We have a cancel button. And to the right,
details, heading, done button.
The done button where we will double tap when we're really finished.
Cookies, text field.
With this reminder. Cookies is the name of it. We're going to leave that alone.
Notes, text field.
So notes.
Double tap to edit.
Notes.
Use the rotor to access misspelled word. Text field is editing.
And I'm going to put a note in there because she wants the fresh baked chocolate chip.
Cap FR S8 space.
I accidentally forgot an E there.
E F8 space B A K E D space Jet P.
Whoopin.
Delete P.
What are you telling me? Oh, okay.
J.
All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, she was telling me something at the same time. So I put fresh baked chocolate chip, and that is going to be in my notes. So you can put anything you want in your notes. I mean, you can put, how much, a quantity of something, or, 2 pounds, or, whatever. But here's
cookies. Text field. Text field is editing. Fresh baked chocolate chip. Character mode. Insert.
That's my notes. And she's telling me to get 2 containers. So I can add that in there. And then if I go to the right,
URL, text field.
Maybe.
Double tap to edit.
Maybe there's a web address. I should have really put that in there for that squishy toy she wanted, because we got that online. But you see, I could add a URL here. And then we're going to go to the right again. I'm just swiping right with one finger.
Date off, collapsed.
So
double tap to expand controls and enable.
Now look at that. Double tap to expand controls and enable. If I want to be alerted about this reminder on a certain date, I turn this on. Not going to show you how to pick dates, because guess what? It's really no different than it is in calendar when we pick the start date and the end date. So if you want to review that, please go back to Monday's class and listen. It'll be up on YouTube by next week. And it is the same process. So just in the interest of time, we're not going to go through that again. Vertical navigation is a big help, but it's month picker, same process. Now here.
Time off, collapsed.
Again,
double tap to expand controls and enable.
If I don't do this, it's going to use my default alert time for reminders. If I do turn this on, I can pick a time. And again, just like the clock or the calendar, you have those hybrid hour and minute, pickers that are also buttons which reveal edit fields for us. Now here,
tags button.
Tags. So I can tag this. Remember, I have 2 tags already, bills and chores, or I could add a new tag. All you got to do is double tap on that button. It's going to let you choose from your existing tags or create a new tag.
Location off, collapsed. Double tap to expand controls and enable.
This is how we add our location. Let's just look at what this looks like.
Location, more options shown.
Okay.
Cancel, detail.
The more options are shown.
Location, on, expanded, current location, button.
I can double tap to use the current location.
Selected, home, arriving, button.
I can say arriving.
Double tap to toggle leaving state.
So double tap to toggle leaving state if I wanted to say when I leave home.
Selected, home, arriving, cookies, text field.
So I can...
current location, fresh baked chalk URL.
Let's go over here again.
Fresh baked URL.
Now, here's the thing, guys. If the location isn't what we actually want it to be.
Selecting this option will show the when messaging, leaving, Matthews Hall, custom, button, getting out of the car, button, getting into the car, button, selected, home, leaving, button.
Look at all those different choices.
Tap to top, getting into the car, getting out of the car.
Button. Like it even knows
custom,
that.
leaving,
and then there's custom. And so I can pick custom.
Selected.
The other thing I can do is hit on this current location thing, and I can search for a location. I told you that before. If it's not where I'm at right now, I can pick a different location, and it's going to be a search field with suggestions and stuff, much again like the calendar location field was.
Location on. Expand location. Fewer options shown.
I turned it off.
With location off.
Because we don't need that right now.
When messaging off. Collapsed. Selecting this option will show the reminder notification when chatting with a person in messages.
There's that option I told you about. Person-based reminders.
Assign reminder. None.
Okay, assign reminder. I can double tap. This is a shared list, so anybody in the list I could assign this reminder to if I wanted to.
Flag off.
I can flag it.
Priority none button.
I can adjust the priority. These chocolate chip cookies are high priority for sure.
Selected.
So,
low, medium, high. Selected. High.
All right.
Not priority. Heading details. Back button.
Go back.
Detail cancel.
Back at the cancel button. We'll swipe right a bunch here.
Assign reminder. Flag. Priority. High button. List. Grocery. Pink button.
It's going on the grocery list, which is where we want it. We could change that on the fly here if we needed to.
Subtasks. 0 button.
If there are subtasks, we double tap that and we start adding each subtask.
Add image button.
You can add an image.
Add image.
So if I had a picture of those cookies that I want to add, I can just go in there and I can add that. When we're finished, we go back up to the top. I'm going to do a 4-finger single tap near the top of the screen to bring me back there.
Cancel button.
Swipe right twice.
Detail done button.
Hit done.
Selected. Edit button.
And now we can see that among my other groceries, that's on the list. I'll just tap a few so you get the idea.
Incomplete. Salad dressing. Incomplete. Shredded cheddar. Incomplete. Freezer bags. Incomplete. Orange juice. Incomplete. Apple Jacks. Incomplete. Squishes.
There's the squishy.
Incomplete. Makeup case.
There's the makeup case.
Incomplete. Cookies. Fresh baked chocolate chip. High priority.
Okay.
Double tap to mark as completed.
If I keep going.
Toolbar. New reminder button.
That's it, because there's no completed reminders. Now, I want to see if there's anything we already bought since I made this list that I can mark off here.
Incomplete. Straws. Incomplete. Bread.
Probably.
Incomplete. Oyster cracker.
We actually did get bread.
Incomplete. Bread.
All right, I forgot to mark that one off when we got it. So let's double tap it.
Completed. Bread.
Now there's one item completed. It's going to go to the bottom of the list.
Incomplete. Incomplete. Squishes.
Almost there.
Toolbar. New reminder.
And it's not showing because I don't have my completed items showing right now, apparently.
Grocery. Heading.
Let's fix that.
More. Button.
More. Show.
Manage. Select reminder. Sort by. Show completed. Button.
There we go. Show completed item.
Edit. Button.
Maybe I have more than that on there. Let's swipe to the right now.
Incomplete. Incomplete. Salad dress. Incomplete. Cookies. Completed. Bread. Toolbar.
Nope, just one completed item. So if I look now at the top of the screen, this is what's really cool.
More. But shared with Jessica. One completed. Bullet.
One completed. That could be 17, whatever. But right now there's one. And I swipe to the right.
Clear button.
There's that all-important button that would allow me to clear the completed items, which I told you was something I felt was missing to use this as a full-fledged grocery and shopping list app until this year. So now all I got to do is double tap on that. If I have really old ones, it might say to me, do you want to delete the completed items that are more than 6 months old, more than 3 months? But in this case, there's only going to be one option because it's just one completed reminder from, a day or so ago.
Clear button. Completed reminders. Heading. All completed button. Dismiss context menu button.
So we'll hit all completed.
All complete. Alert. One completed reminder will be deleted from this list. This cannot be undone. Delete reminder button.
And there it is.
Incomplete.
So we have just shown you,
3:54.
and we got about a little over 5 minutes left to take some questions. Go ahead and put them in the Q&A there. But we have just shown you how to create reminders quickly, how to add your additional characteristics right to the language of the reminder, like literally just typing in the edit field, Wednesday at 3, stuff like that. We've shown you how to use the quick toolbar, which is above the on-screen keyboard. For a point of reference, if you look above the letters U, I, and O, you will find this quick toolbar. We're going to learn more about those in the coming weeks. But here in Reminders, it's a smart bar. It gives you, quickly add a date or a location alert to your reminders. And then we learned how to get all the details by swiping to the right of the edit field and choosing edit detail. And that's going to give us all those different options and a whole lot more. Subtasks, assign the reminder. We had, the ability to add notes and a URL, to add a photo, add an image to the reminder, to choose the priority level of the reminder. This is a very, very powerful app. And as with all these Apple apps, easy to use, but very, very powerful, a tremendous amount of functionality, more than a lot of people realize, I think. The other thing to remind people of is that if you do like a time-based or location-based reminder and it pops up as a notification, remember to long press on that notification, because you're going to get those options then too, like mark as complete, remind me in an hour. You don't even have to go into the reminders app to do that. Just long press on your notification banner, and you get those actions as well. That is going to do it for our reminders discussion today. And God bless you and have a great rest of your week.